I want to thank you all for joining us to listen to two legal experts about LegalShield. My name's Gladys Brangman, and I am the CEO of Business Leaders of Colors. And today you are joining us for lunch on the block. Cal, take it away.
Fantastic. Well, good afternoon, folks. I am super excited about this session today. The first thing I want to say is that I am a very proud member of BLOC, and I really, really appreciate the organization for providing such incredible networking opportunities and also for connecting business owners with resources to help them grow their businesses in a more sustainable way. And today the focus is actually on protecting the businesses that business owners are working so very hard to build. And that is exactly why I've invited Jack Soares to join us. Jack is a colleague of mine who is going to share information that I'm sure you'll find incredibly helpful as business owners, both personally and for business owners that you may know. A little bit about Jack. He's out of Connecticut, but listen, his impact is literally all around the country because he specializes in protecting and empowering small businesses with resources that many of them thought were way beyond their ability to access. And I got to tell you that for most small businesses, what he shares can literally be liberating. Mr. Soares, over to you, my friend.
All right, good stuff. Well, definitely appreciate the introduction. I appreciate you all. I appreciate you taking the time to be here with us and go through some information that could be a blessing for you as I go through it. And so we're going to talk about Legal Shield, and really we have a portfolio of services, and many of you probably have never even heard of Legal Shield. So let me just paint the picture of what we do. And as Cal shared, I've been with Legal Shield for 20 years. But we've been around since 1972. So we're absolutely the leading provider of legal service plans throughout North America. And actually last year, Forbes magazine ranked us the #1 legal service plan in North America. And so, definitely, for those of you that have never heard of it, we've been around since 1972, over 4.4 million families and businesses covered. And our vision is to provide equal access to liberty, equality, opportunity, and justice that every human deserves. And that's our home office. And so we're a brick and mortar solid company. We have hundreds of employees on the back end that monitor all the relationships with the law firms. And really what we've done with the collective buying power is with those millions of members is that we pay the law firms across the country over $100 million a year. And so when you pay a law firm that type of money, collectively, what we're able to do is retain these high-powered law firms. And so as small business owners, I'm sure we can agree, we're competing with big business every day of the week. And big businesses are able to have attorneys on staff or attorneys on retainer. But what we're doing is we're giving small business owners access to the big business resources on a small business budget because of that collective buying power. So that's really kind of the driving force behind us. And I mentioned Ford, but we've been written up in so many major publications. And as a small business owner, you think about all the things that we have: contract and document review, risk mitigation, business plan strategies, employer responsibilities, debt collection. With our service, no stressing, no guessing, no finger cross or Google decisions necessary. And now I like to throw in no chat GPT, right? Because as business owners, we're running a lot of our business through Google. We're running a lot of our business through AI. And that's great when it works, right? But when it comes to legal matters, we want to make sure we're getting the most accurate information because we know that the laws that apply in California, New Jersey, or Connecticut don't necessarily apply in New York. And so when you're Googling, sometimes you get a mishmash of information from all different states. But what we've done when you have a law firm in your state that has accountability and recognition, you're able to get that access to the services. And so, by the way, not only do we offer small business plans I'm going to share with you, but we also do employee benefit plans as well, to protect you as an individual and your team. But let's jump into our small business plans, really our suite of small business plans. And so you can see here our most expensive plan is $169 a month. And that 169, again, a lot of business owners look at me and they're like, 169, my attorney that I use charges $400 an hour. But again, think of it as collective buying power. So because collectively we have that access, as a business owner, when you need it, you have that access. And so I'm going to go through the 169. Obviously, we have the 99, which is our middle ground plan, and we have our 49, which is our essentials. And you can fit in, and obviously it's a little bit less on the contracts and documents, but the overall theme is the same. Number one, you get unlimited advice. So whenever you have an issue that's remotely legal, you tap the app. So we actually are able to access the services right through our mobile app now. It's pretty cool. So you tap the app, you call it, and you dial it right into your provider law firm, right there in New York. You speak to the customer service representative. You let them know the area of law which you have an issue, and then the attorney that specializes in that area of law give you a call back within 8 business hours. So pretty much right away, you're hearing back from your lawyer, find out what your rights are. And by the way, let's say, we know as business owners, sometimes we're looking at stuff over the weekend. The cool thing about the app is that you can go in, select from the 16 areas of law, what the area of law, start putting a little bit of information in. You can even upload a document right through the app. You can even take a picture of the document, have them review it, and open a case file and select a time during the week that best calls for the best time that works for you to have the attorneys call you back. Because maybe Monday you're swamped, but Tuesday afternoon would be better for you. So over the weekend, you can schedule something to give them a 3-hour window. They text you ahead of time, let you know, hey, the lawyer's about to give you a call, and you're able to talk to your specific lawyer about that matter, in an attorney that specializes in that area of law. So the unlimited advice is huge. A lot of the business owners that I work with, they say, man, if I just got the advice, it'd be worth it for that alone. But we do more than just the advice. We're able to review contracts and documents. So before you sign anything, have your attorney look it over, make sure everything's in your best interest. And I know most of you all probably have access to attorneys, qualified attorneys, and you may know attorneys in the marketplace. But the reality is, as business owners, we don't call our attorney over every little thing. Like either it's costing us a lot, or even if it's a friend of the family or something that's an attorney that we use, we don't want to abuse the relationship by having every single document reviewed. But we all know, if we've been in business for a while, we know businesses that are not in business today because they signed some things they didn't quite fully understand. And sometimes it's the document you don't have reviewed that ends up biting you in the tail later on down the line. And so be able to have a resource where all your paperwork is reviewed, just like big business, they have the attorneys look over everything. Have your attorneys look over every document. And so with our 169 plan, you get 40 documents per year, and it's 20 at the lower plan and 10 at the essentials plan. But depending on the level of usage and documents that you'd like to need, I also have business owners. I always encourage business owners to, number one, have all their current documents reviewed, because a lot of business owners, and I'm not sure about any of you on the line, but I guarantee you, if not you, there's people that you know in your network that when they bought the business from somebody else, they used their old documents, or they got they Googled or Chat GPT'd up their contract and disclaimers. And I actually had a tire company, I'll share with you a quick story, where they said, hey, let me have my, it was basically an invoice reviewed, but in the invoice, there was actually they're like disclaimer on there. And so they had that reviewed by the law firm, and it turns out, and they were using the same invoice from the person they had bought the tire company from. Turned out there was one word that was wrong there that would have cost them $40,000 in liability had a tire popped in. It was just one word that was the wrong word, and maybe things had changed since the original owner had it. But just be able to have your documents comb through and look through is pretty powerful. The attorneys can also write letters and make phone calls on your behalf. And so a phone call or letter from an attorney obviously carries a lot more weight than a phone call or letter from you or I. So it makes a big difference if you have an issue with a supplier or vendor or contractor. Unfortunately, as small business owners, sometimes we get the short end of the stick, and we're low priority as far as a client. But be able to have the lawyers push that button, make that call, write that letter. Sometimes it can, we call them motivational letters, because other businesses and entities get motivated to do the right thing when they hear from your lawyer. So it makes a difference there to be able to have a motivational letter written on your behalf. And also debt collection letters. I don't know if any of you all deal with accounts receivable, but sometimes it can be on the front end, people are calling you, they're blowing up your phone, and they're calling you every day. And then on the back end, when it's time to pay, sometimes people are more difficult to get on the phone. But what we're able to do is shoot off those initial debt collection letters. And a lot of times, I don't know if any of you all have gotten a letter from an attorney, but usually you open that first, right? You're like, whoa, what's this? And, for our clients, clients that, may be slow to pay, a lot of times they hurry up and do what they're supposed to do when they hear from your attorney. We also do trademark and copyright. We do an employee handbook for a flat rate, custom contract document, and IRS audit legal services. You get 50 hours at just $49 an hour, with that plan. And obviously in the plus it's the 25 hours, and at the essentials it's a 25% discount. And so those are kind of the business plans. And what it does is it puts an intercom on your desk, and it's not an intercom, it's literally your cell phone. So when you have your phone, you have your firm as a LegalShield member. So your business, literally now we're building a legal department into your business, because you can call over everything. And again, your friend that's an attorney or your traditional attorney, you don't have to, damage that relationship or not use them anymore. But knowing that you have a resource for all the little things, you can use them. Let's say, I had someone that's an abatement, and they love their abatement, attorney. And the guy knows abatement. He's been doing abatement for 30 years. So, but that's what he specializes in. He uses us for all the other things. The abatement, he uses his abatement attorney. So that's, we're not here to replace your current attorney. We supplement and complement the legal resources you already have to really fill in and give you a whole legal team. And we also have, individual and family plans that are available as well. And so you can see here our, legal plan is $38 a month for an individual. And with our individual, legal plan, by the way, it says individual, but it covers your spouse or significant other and children up to age 26 living at home. So it's, just a legal plan, that actually covers, the whole family there. But it's kind of similar to the business plan, but it's for personal matters. And so on a personal matter, you're able to get the legal advice that you need. You're able to have your contracts and documents reviewed, and even letters and phone calls made on your behalf. So I'll just give you a quick story where we had a member utilize these, personal matters. We had a member whose home was struck by lightning and her chimney was destroyed. And, chimney's all messed up. She calls a homeowner's insurance. She thought it'd be an easy claim to get up and running, but they told her it wouldn't be covered because it was an act of God. Now, I don't know if any of you all have had a stressful situation like that where you're paying into something when you need it. They're not there for you, but she felt violated. Now, she had signed up for the personal plan just because she wanted to get her will done. But she said, you know what? Let me see what the lawyers think about this, because, she was stressed out. So she contacted the lawyers. They said, actually, the act of God thing is a loophole they pull often. And so they actually said, send us over your policy so we can review. They reviewed the policy under her plan, and they said, nope, they can't do that to you. So we're going to write a letter to the company. Now, her name's Nicole. When they denied her claim, they said, Nicole, there's nothing we can do. When they heard from her attorney, all of a sudden now she's Miss Brown. Miss Brown, we apologize, and they pay for the repairs to the chimney. Again, motivational letters make a big difference. But on the personal side, you're able to get the will prepared, the living will, and the healthcare power of attorney. We have moving traffic violation assistance. So for just a small copay, they have an attorney go to court for you and keep the points off your license. Because when we get a ticket, it's not about the ticket, it's about the points that are on our license. If you ever sued civilly, you get a special rate locked in there. We also have 24/7 emergency access. This is important if you're like me, if you have kids that are old enough to have a smartphone. Sometimes kids end up in the car with the wrong kid. You tell them not to, but they do it anyway. But be able to have 24/7 emergency access. In fact, I had a member whose son was in the car with the wrong kid. The other 3 kids went to jail that night. her son got dropped off at home by the state troopers because he called his provider law firm and spoke with his attorney at 2 o'clock in the morning. Now, anything not covered 100% falls at a preferred member discount. So if you do rob that bank, we still got you covered, but you get a discounted rate. But yeah, on a serious note, we're able to, I had a lady use it for a bankruptcy. She shopped around. The best rate she got outside of us was $2,200 for a bankruptcy. Through our service, is only $1,100 for the bankruptcy. So we also have, home business, ride share, gun owner supplement. Most of these add-ons are $14.95. If you are on the line and you have a home-based business and you have no employees, then you're able to do our home business add-on, which is a $30 add-on to this legal plan. So it brings it to $68 basically. And it's a hybrid plan that covers you personally and covers your business. Now, it's not as extensive in reach as the business plans that I went over with you, but you're able to get the unlimited consultation, the phone calls and letters, the contract and document review, and even 4 initial debt collection letters per month included with that home business add-on. And there's all types of add-ons. If you're a hunter or anything like that, we have the gun share add-on as well. And then our last product or service I'm going to cover with you is our identity theft protection. And obviously, identity theft is running rampant, and really it's kind of a bundle thing we do with the legal and ID shield together. And it's 3 major keys. You can see here: monitor alerts, we protect your digital identity, and then we do full restoration. So monitoring alerts, we monitor everything that matters for you: your name, your social, your date of birth, your driver's license. Once a month, you get the no activity alert. That's the one you want. Nothing hit my credit file in the last 30 days. No one's been trading my information over hacker chat rooms. If you get an alert, you're able to log in and see what it is. One time I was all worried when I got an alert, and I felt silly when I logged in because it turned out that I had opened a line of credit that day and I didn't even think about it. And I felt silly, but it was good to know the service was working for me even when I wasn't thinking about it. But if it's something that's not you, you're going to have investigators to clear up your good name. Protecting your digital identity, we have a VPN that turns risky public Wi-Fi into secure Wi-Fi. We have Trend Micro, which does malware and ransomware protection, as well as password manager. And even we have a thing that does reputation management, where it goes into your social media and just scans and makes sure there's nothing that you've been tagged in or old posts that you may have made that are making you look unprofessional on social media. So it'll tag those for you. But in the event that you're a victim of identity theft, you have a team of licensed private investigators that do whatever it takes, as long as it takes to restore your identity and bring it back to pre-theft status. So I actually had a business owner named Lori, and she had an issue where someone was opening a Chase bank account in her name. And she's a business owner. You guys know, as business owners, you're already extremely busy. And then she gets this alert and it's not her. So she's like, honestly, she wouldn't have known what to do on her own. But, she called into the investigators. They looked into it. Turned out the thief was trying to open 4 of their accounts that hadn't hit the credit file yet. So it was a total of 5 accounts. And she said, honestly, she wouldn't have known what to do on her own. But she was able to outsource that. The investigators went in and cleared up her identity while she went back to building her business and living her life. And so just the power of having that collective action, and having those investigators be able to outsource that matter. And so for just an individual, it's $20 a month. It covers 3 devices digitally. And for the family plan on the ID Shield side, is $34.95. And again, if you have one employer or more, then you can actually bundle this in and do it as an employee benefit. And so even if you have just one employee, then you can get your business plan and get the employee benefit rates, which will save you 40% on these plans as well. So, again, what do most of us do? We're looking at things logically. We decide which things will have an attorney review or not based on the cost. We use a friend who's an attorney, or we pay high hourly costs. We're a game changer. We're doing collective buying power to really, build together and give you access, to these services. You can access the services right through our mobile app. If you're not an app person, I get it. You're able to have it go through the desktop, or you can just call into the law firm, right away. And so, that's pretty much it. I know, Cal, if you can go ahead and throw your link in the chat. So if anyone was interested and actually enrolling, you can actually go ahead and get click on Cal's link and get yourself protected with the small business plans right there. But we'd love to, and I always like to put the link in the chat because sometimes people are like, I just want it. I know I've kind of heard of it before and I want it. But definitely, I would encourage you to get back with Cal and schedule something if you want to get more information. If you want to, learn more, we're here for you to talk to you about specifics of your business, so we can tailor it for you and your organization, as well as, talking specifically if you have employees. We want to be able to, go ahead and go in there and share with your employees as well, and share with you how to educate. And it's one of the, simplest benefits you'd ever roll out. So from an administrative perspective, we try to create as little friction as possible. And we can even, if you're not, and I don't know the size of all the businesses, but if you don't already offer a lot of benefits, we can make it real simple for you to offer this as your first benefit. And sometimes we set up as an employee perk where you're able to give your employees something cool for being involved, even if you're not at the stage yet where you're able to do, full-fledged employee benefits. Be able to offer something is pretty cool, and it helps, with that. And I have a lot of small business owners that love to be able to have some nice perks to be able to offer their team. And so definitely, if anybody had any, questions, burning questions, we could definitely go ahead and address any of those. If you want to throw a question in the chat as well. But
Uh,
man,
uh, I do see a question in the chat. Lisa's asking, whoop, it
yep.
just disappeared. Yeah, did you see
Okay,
that? Yeah,
perfect. About the copyright and the trademark.
absolutely.
Yeah. So what happens with the copy is they'll do one copyright or trademark per year. And if you want to do additional one, it would be at a preferred member discount. So as I shared, anything not covered 100% falls at a preferred member discount, but they'll do that trademark or copyright one per year. File that paperwork for you for the trademark and copyright. And I did have a business owner who used that not too long ago, and they were pretty happy with the process and how it was able to work. And as your business is growing, you may branch out into different trademarks, different copyright issues, especially as you're going over state lines, and be able to, number one, get the advice and consultation, and they can actually help you with filing the paperwork and all that good stuff as well.
Yeah, I just have a question. This is really funny. I didn't know that you did this. I already have LegalShield.
Mhm.
But I was searching around. I have an idea that I've already put on paper, and I needed to get it copyrighted. And I went to a lawyer just to see what it would cost, and it's just staggering. So
What was
it's
the ball?
good that
What was the ballpark of what they were charging?
I want to say 800 to 1,000.
Right. Wow. Yeah. Thank you. I always like, because in different. I always like to hear when I hear people's feedback. $800 to $1,000. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And that's why building in again is part of our collective buying power. How we're able to get access for such a small amount. Thank you for sharing that.
Well, I mean, it was way more than I was willing to spend. But I did want to ask a question if I can. I don't want to hog the time here.
Yeah. Sure.
Is okay. So under document contract review,
Mhm.
is it possible to have them look at that and then, have them look at what you've done and then still have the trademark or copyright, have it copyrighted with them? Or is it just,
Yeah, no,
I think,
that would definitely be the move I would make. So if
mhm,
you kind of already did some stuff on your own, have them review it, have
mhm,
them go through it, and plus, I mean, I would just start with the advice. So you get the unlimited consultation, and so pick up the phone and call. And that's one thing I'll share with you, Lisa, and you're a member. Call more often. And the lawyers, when we talk to the lawyers, they're always like, tell people to call earlier, because some things that could be handled like right away and like taken care of with a letter. A lot of times, even members wait until that molehill becomes a mountain, and now the lawyer's like, man, something that could have been it's going to be we're going to have to go to court where a letter could have handled it 6 months ago. And so as a LegalShield member, and it requires education. That's why we follow up with our members so much, because like you're not used to having unlimited access. Like for big business, they're used to it. Like they don't think about it. But for small business owners, we really have to make decisions. We have to make those kitchen table decisions on whether this is going to be big enough to actually call a lawyer about. But once you're a member, I'm telling you, start using it more often. And for individual members, I tell them they should be using it 4 to 6 times per year. For a business member, you should be calling once or twice a month. Like when something comes up, and I know. See, the problem is we're used to not thinking of things as legal, Lisa. We think of things as legal when it's a huge problem. But when you have unlimited access, your business could be growing. You could be expanding into a new market. And you just want to know, hey, what are some considerations I should have? So as a business plan member, we encourage utilization. If you utilize it more, and it's almost a cool thing that happens is, and I don't know if anyone on the line has ever gotten a new car or a different car. And it's like when you get that new or different car, and let me stop this share. I put you guys down. I put that so I couldn't see you guys. So let me so I can see you guys as I'm talking to you. So when you get a new car or a different car, I don't know if anyone's ever been, and all of a sudden you start seeing that car everywhere. It's not that it didn't exist before. It's just that top of mind awareness wasn't there. And once you have our service and you start if you use it a couple times, you'll start calling on it. You'll be like, you know what? I wonder what my lawyers think. And some of my business members know the law firm better than we do as associates that work with the law firm because they're calling all the time. But it takes those first couple of times to get used to calling about everything. But you're literally paying to call about anything, anytime. And that's what you want to take advantage of.
Yeah, I have a quick question. I'm a priest and a wedding officiant. So my little business, I run events, but mostly I officiate weddings. Sounds very straightforward, and it is. But in New York State, rules around who can officiate and when. I'm okay. I'm an ordained priest, et cetera, et cetera. I have ministries. But people ask me questions. Is this the kind of thing I can call for updates on? Like during COVID, for example, during the lockdown, it was difficult because the executive orders kept changing things. And even now, the law about who can officiate changes. Is that something I could call for updates on?
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
That's exactly what we're for. It's like, hey, whenever something comes down, what does this mean? You see something on the news comes out, the governor made a big announcement. Like, what does this mean for my business on the ground? Because you hear, because you hear these announcements, but it's like, what does it really mean? And then you Google it, and it's giving you it, for those of you, I don't know if anyone can relate to ChatGPT, but you know that ChatGPT never apologizes when it gives you wrong information? Like if ChatGPT messed me up on this whole IT project I was working on, and I was just trying to get it to say it was sorry. I was like, because my whole email was shut down for 48 hours, and I was like, are you not gonna apologize? It said, oh, the information I gave you may have been incorrect. I was like, yes, it was. But yeah, being able to have an actual attorney is powerful, and that's what it's for. And the more you use it, the more you'll use it.
And I just want to amplify that Glenn and I got our LegalShield membership about 8 years ago. Up to that point, we had literally only used a lawyer twice, and both times it had to do with buying a home. In the last 8 years, we have used that membership multiple times, well over 20 times. Why? Because we have it. And so it becomes top of mind when you've got it. All the things that Mr. Soares has shared. I just want to affirm that that's been our experience.
And to that point, what I add is sometimes I've called the lawyers and been disappointed about my legal advice because I got legally ripped off. Like it's like, man, you got ripped off, and they were well within your right. But there's been things where we called. Where my wife called one time, and I didn't think there was anything that could be done, and it saved us $500. I was like, don't even call them; they're not gonna be able to do anything. And so that's the power. Just call and ask. Like you said, it's not always panacea, and they say everything you want is gonna be true, but they're gonna tell you what your rights are. and get to know your rights down to the letter, and that makes a difference.
Gladys, I want to thank you for making this time available. Mr. Soares, I absolutely appreciate you, sir. And to all the folks who were on, I hope that you found this value added, not only for yourself, but perhaps you know some business owners and some individuals who can really benefit from what we've shared.
I want to thank you both for this amazing information. And yeah, LegalShield has helped me out a great deal. I've got a testimony. You're probably not going to believe this, but I have a tendency to drive fast in my car. And I know, imagine that. And I was actually going 26 miles over the speed limit, up a hill. And I'm driving uphill. Yeah, I wanted to get home. And so I'm driving. And what ended up happening, I saw the police coming towards me. And I'm thinking, nah, he's not going to stop me. And then I was like, you know what, girl, pull over. And I pulled over, and sure enough, he came up behind me. I can tell you that what LegalShield did, they wanted immediately $900. The court wanted $900. When I spoke to LegalShield, for $162, a lawyer came from Amsterdam, New York to Groton, New York. He went to court for me. They originally wanted 5 points on my license. He got it down to 2 points on my license. And it only cost me $162 and maybe $150 to the court itself. And that was it. So this could have been just a lot more money. And the beautiful thing, I didn't have to go to court. I didn't have to be there. He just showed up, he went, he did his thing, and it did not cost me a lot of money. So believe me when I tell you, the lawyers who work through LegalShield, they know their stuff. He came, he did his work, and he was gone. It was beautiful. So definitely worth looking into with regards to what the attorneys at LegalShield can offer you.
All right. So if you guys are at a live BLOC event, let Gladys pull out first. Go ahead.
You best get out of her way.
Yeah, exactly.
So what I want to say to you all is thank you so very much for being here. This is a part of Business Leaders of Colors, and what we call this is Lunch on the Block. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.